Hi. Uh, the introduction, I was messing with dip again, and when I was setting this up, it was a little confusion with some noises in the background, and voices actually were coming through to you guys to hear. Maybe to me, I heard perfectly weird voices all talking at the same time. Turned out that I had two live streams going on at the same time. I'm doing this all while I'm messing around with Copenhagen dip, which I used to do when I was a lot younger to get my my fix, my nicotine fix. That was like when I was 20 something, working at the American Red Cross. I didn't do it while I was working, but I used to do that when I was in the country. So I recorded like 3 minutes of just noise. I want to see if we can do that again and hear voices. It's very interesting. I turned off the other live stream, so that's not on right now. And I want to see what this is. This would be neat if it just turns out to be really cool. Let me see. How's your meeting? So everybody knows that God exists and he goes. I know I have a sarcastic tone, but that's what I have two live streams going on at the same time. There goes one. There. I didn't say psychotic though. I talk too much. I had two live streams going on at the same time. I didn't say I was good at dipping either, so. This is like back in the when I was in Colorado, there being a but hi, Yuma. I really attempt to be quiet. Ghosts, if you are really ghosts, do you have anything that you would like to say right now? I'll give you a full minute to be able to say hello at least and able to introduce yourself. The minute is yours. And you can take longer if you want to. I'm just telling you that it's your opportunity to say hello. How convenient. That's when here, let me get rid of this so I can explain it better. How's he not? That was kind of refreshing actually, because I hadn't done dip in such a long time. I thought it was gonna make me really dizzy and make me feel weird, but it didn't. It was it was good. It kind of woke me up a little bit. Hi, my dog is here, and he's here, just wondering what's going on with all this stuff, or he probably knows what's going on, but I don't. I'm just trying to clarify it to you guys because it just became such a big issue in the last hour, an hour or two. People are behaving very, very uh, intrusive, something. They're just acting very strangely. It was unusually supernatural. I don't know what else to call it. Um, and just before that, I've had a horrible day, which is trying to comprehend what was going on and to maintain my steadiness throughout the whole thing. Thank you, Bo. And I was just trying to defend myself by putting it out there for you. So maybe you might hear a voice that say certain things that whatever. And I know I'm kind of being a smartass towards them. It's because I'm not afraid of them and I don't care. about they're dead if that's what they are. But how are they talking? So I'm just I don't know, just messing around. I don't know. It could be something. I'm not sure. So this stopped at 1 minute 47. I'm gonna. That's when I had to do the dip thing. I'm gonna, and it's quiet. All I hear is traffic. The bus with the slowing down. There are no TVs. There are no people talking. There are no outside people talking. There are no neighbors. And what time is it? It's 2:03 in the AM. So I'm gonna push this again. It's quiet enough so that you know that it's not me. It's gonna be this on, and my dog is right here with me. He's not saying anything. My neighbors are all quiet. Everybody's quiet. Oh, sorry. It's just easy to put back on live again. If you want to start pushing it a little bit more, you can go right back on there, and I'll be happy to introduce you just the way I did. Again, I'm not ashamed of being myself. So, because they were mean to me all day. So, suddenly got quiet. That means sweat is I'm trying to narrate to the whole thing. I'm so frustrated with idiots. It's just driving me crazy. Maybe in psychosis. I don't know. How could I be in psychosis? How can anybody be in psychosis? Without motivation. Like, or dip. A beer, one beer. But that would explain why other people are being assholes. Yeah, I'll explain that. I should have stayed quiet and just, but I can't help but say something. First ever live stream of Ghost of God, demons, whatever. Aliens. Okay, so that ended the first recording, and it was a failure kind of because I was talking out loud, and the live stream was happening at the same time. And so I'm gonna try again. It didn't answer. It didn't introduce from what I heard. Yeah, I didn't hear anyone say my name is whatever. And I'm here to haunt you, whatever. Okay, and I say whatever a lot because I don't know what to use words in there, and I'm not a trained spiritual or whatever. I don't know what they're called, licensed physicians or psychic. I don't know. How could I be a psychic? I know I've committed suicide before, and there's stories along with that, and I've done that many times to kill myself and stuff. Not because I wanted to get this kind of proof, but because I was so miserable with my life, and I am trying to defend myself in that I'm not a liar in experiencing this stuff in my life. All I want is for them to stop picking on me and stop harassing me. If they want me to do something, they won't do it. I told them not to do it by force and not to use people against me. So far, they've used every single person in my life, and they've turned it all against me. They'll get me close to somebody, and then they'll destroy it, just like they did tonight and the night before or whatever. It's the same pattern that has keeps coming back and keeps coming back. So live happened to be my savior, I guess, or my putting it in neutral. That happens also when I do a suggestibility hypnosis, subliminal. Uh, Everyone will all of a sudden start to behave. They'll set up a stage, sort of like the people will start to begin uh, feeling. I mean, they'll just become more active, or I become more aware of them being more active. Yeah, I don't know. Something odd is happening to me, and I think it spills over to other people too, but I'm not really sure. But now they're not hurting me or making me feel uncomfortable. All of the symptoms that I was feeling, like drowsy all of a sudden, and the tiredness and the heavy weight, I feel actually very light now, even with the dip in my system and a beer. So I mean, and lack of sleep because they won't let me sleep. But those kinds of things, I think, have been a way to get them to behave a little bit more civilly, because whatever it is able to communicate like demons, idiots. I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in angels. Really, I don't. I mean, I'm not Catholic, and they're the only ones that I could say that I know that they believe in angels and demons and saints and stuff like that. I don't know too much about it. What I learned was Jesus and God and a lot of the Old Testament and the New Testament, whatever. I read the Bible so many times, and I'm not even going to specify how many times. So I know pretty good amounts of being a Christian myself, prayer and stuff like that. But I don't like to actively call myself a Christian because I'm Native American as well, and Christianity would tore through this country like hardcore. I have my issues with it, is what I'm trying to say. And throughout this whole uh, life changing spiritual journey, it's been terrorizing my life in the most horrible way. I'm also a targeted individual. I'm throwing out all of these things because it's a checklist that I'm just presenting out there as possibilities, so that and they're not really possibilities either, because who knows? Somebody could just have a microphone somewhere and be able to get me to do that. The technology from the Department of Defense and the experiments that they use on their citizens, which is all can be proven. There's a law that that was passed in, I think, in the 80s or something, or sometime that it was passed that they can invade the privacy of the citizens that they're experimenting on. I'm talking specifically about the government. And these are all proven stuff. You can go on the internet, you can go to the Department of Defense and see the public records on who made this technology and why they made it and stuff. I mean, like that's easily found. And it's hard for me to believe that humans have the capability to be able to target a human being. But if a group of humans came together and they were running a country, and then they just, they've been working on it since the 70s and 1970s, all the way up to 2020 now. I'm sure the technology has gotten better, and that they were able to target specific rooms that homeless uh, uh, could be perfect lab rats. In my life, I have seen that San Francisco has gone through a huge transition, and with their background as in for experimenting and targeting people like me and my dog, who are homeless, and the hot team was able to house us. But along with that, and it's not just me, there are other people who have the similar experiences, and their lives are all messed up. I know about like one, two, three, I want to say like 4 or 5 individuals for sure who have gone through that, and I see them all the time, and they're miserable, they're sad, they haven't moved uh, in a positive way in any way. And when I try to talk to them, and because some of them are old friends, and I've seen them come from talking coherently and being able to talk well, and I can understand that attempting to explain it to someone who says that they believe in God and who says that they believe in spirits and ghosts, and yet they still aren't able to fully uh, welcome, I guess, the whatever they are. To me, it would be proving to me that it's possible that they do exist. I would say that they don't. I'm trying to get my ear into it because some of the cool people, see, now they just distracted me from explaining that. But and it's so easy for me to say they, and I don't like to do that because it makes me look crazy, and I probably am crazy. I don't know. It's what time is it? It's 2:14 in the morning. They're not gonna let me sleep. They've been torturing me for days, so I figure I might as well make a video for YouTube. And I have one person paying attention, whereas it is so weird. I just say that I've done this with Instagram too, where if they started to pick on me, I would go straight to live, and they would start to behave. They're whispering right now in my ears, or not in my ears, maybe just through using their technology. Or not technology. Maybe they're actually here in their ethereal realm or whatever. I don't know very much about how that works, and I don't believe in it. But that's the only explanations that I can refer back to, because that's the most common argument that most people would probably have. I don't really talk to priests, or I don't really talk to nuns or psychics very much. I might be a psychic, I don't even know. I do know that tarot card readings are mostly accurate, and they mostly gear towards the same thing. And I think I've said this in videos in the past, where I was trying to, because I have a very scientific mind as well, in that I would like to get it on proof and try to uh, make sure that I have something, and it sort of presented itself now. So thank you, YouTube. Thank you, guys, or whoever's watching this, that one. I was going to say that when I did do that for YouTube, or I mean Instagram, they would behave, and then I would do it a couple more times, and then they would discover that they can time it at certain times when I'm not paying attention, and they're clever. Is what I'm saying. So it was just neat how this random, spontaneous, and blessing, I guess, I don't know, whatever it's called, has shown itself to be an option for me to do, and it's obvious they don't want to be caught. So, well, to me, it is that so because they're whispering in my ear at the same time. You're gonna make yourself. It, if it's just my brain that's trying to trick me, as in what the brain will do during the psychosis and in safety measures to comfort the person before he or she succumbs into a death state, I guess. It's your brain trying to give you a explanation of what is going on, or give you the backstory, so that way you won't have to panic. And uh, I don't know that much about it. I just know that those mechanisms are placed there in the flight or fight response. I am not really in a flight or fight response because I'm not dying for one. I hope not. Well, that's a strange sentence for me because I usually want to die. But it's uh, it's it's just it's just intriguing to me that I might be able to have proof. And I know that people have done this with their own experiments and stuff. Let's just keep going, shall we? I would love to see. I'm trying to look at the camera, but I can't help but look at myself and just I want to see what my face looks like whenever I'm trying to explain this to you, and I'm trying to have them hear it as an audience. Oh, that's stupid. There's a human say that. But how would they know exactly what I'm saying unless they're watching my live stream? And or maybe it's just I don't know. There's so many things that could explain it. The reason why I have that kind of thought too is because the voice that calls himself God in my mind has always said, if you look at it, or if you how is it? There's a perfectly rational explanation for every single thing that happens in your life, which takes away the coincidence, which takes away the risk, the luck, with and basically the things that can happen randomly. Because then that would mean that God exists and that God uh, gives us His blessings through synchronicity and having been through this whole situation before. And then that's how God works. He goes from the beginning to the end of following a string. And when you pray and ask for something, and it shows up, sort of like the law of attraction. Except the law of attraction, you don't have to pray. You just manifest it and you visualize it, and you bring your awareness to a level to where that you'll pay more attention to that, and it would show up. But lately, so lately, so my words just all of a sudden just disappear sometimes. In the last couple of days, it's been more intense and more uh, painful to try to be defensive in that they are pulling out all the stops on how to affect me. But I kind of have this natural ability to be more of a smartass and laugh about it, and which causes me a lot more punishment and horribleness. But I'm willing to take that, and as long as I get my point across on myself. I did have a conversation with him yesterday, and I told him, well, the more you force me and lie to me and trick me into doing something like have a baby, which is the reoccurring theme, uh, then I will become more stubborn, and I will become more of a investigator by tricking and manipulating them into saying something or doing something uh, to even out and provide leverage. Thank you for whoever's listening to me right now, uh, for just being you and just listening to me. I appreciate you more than ever because you're just the one that's doing that. Um, I also wanted to say that on Instagram they become more behaved. They script the whole choreography thing to make it look like nothing is really happening. And when the cameras are off and the sound recorders are off, they go all out open season on me, and they cause all kinds of things to happen. My close friends become my enemies for some odd reason, and it's hard because it's hard for me to understand. And I've been trying to change the word hard and too complicated or difficult. I'm training my mind or my words to describe what I'm going through currently, so I can accurately tell you what I am doing, and that it's not just a big old story and a lie. So I'm coming at a place where I'm being a neutral party, and I'm showing you guys that I'm not a bad person, and I don't think ill of these possibilities. But if it is true and it's real, I would like to ask them, why are they torturing me so much? And is it their place to torture me? And how are they thinking that it's their right to torture me? If, for example, they saw me smoking weed when it was illegal or something. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if you know what I mean, but I really don't do anything as far as hurting anyone or causing much. I don't even do anything. I don't really talk to anybody. I don't do. The most thing I'm concerned about is my dog and me, and food, and the stresses that I have are uh, trying to get this room to another room, and that's why it's kind of in transition. And there's stuff in here that is I'm the kind of person that rearranges his room at least once a week or maybe once a month to get it to flow well, feng shui kind of way. So I usually try to clean the room as much as possible, but in the last month it's been very difficult because in this room they've been we've had an influx of bugs. Frequencies could do that. It just like and I've been having maybe one or two guests that would bring tent poles and cans. This is plastic, but things that are just like that would attract electromagnetic waves. And uh, why would someone bring tires? Not tires. Bicycle spokes tires to my room uh, to store when that person has a room himself. And the room, these are just things that I've been putting together that believe that to attract more of those waves and stuff towards this. So if you put like two two objects. Let me see. I'll just use the spokes, whatever they're called. I wish my vocabulary usually very is so extensive that I can actually explain stuff. And my understanding of the science behind it is really beyond stuff and whatever. And I could do it, but when they want me to look like a fool, which I assume that they are trying to do, the I start to lose my words, and I get so excited that see, I'm trying to place the blame only on me because I don't see no ghosts, and I don't believe in ghosts, and I don't believe in spirits either. And I I just don't see no reason for them or why. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. But this kind of stuff makes sense. These are aluminum, or they it would attract things like satellites targeting here, right? And it would do that. And this door itself is aluminum. Aluminum, and there's uh, pipes up there that are kind of strategically above me. There are two refrigerators in here. One of them is broke, but why would I need to have that extra one in there? And there's a radiator thing, an old radiator from like this building is like from the 1930s. It's been used in movies that were black and white, and there were gumshoe things. So it's also that old since the fires happened here in 1903. I think it was 1903. I might be wrong on some of the dates, but they are fact. The technology, the fires, everything in my life. If I had documented it while I was in San Francisco, and all the things that combined together, is almost like God had planned it and God had put it together. Knew I was going to be here and knew I was going to go on YouTube and do all this. Uh, but it turned not evil, but it turned it turned him into my no, I don't want to say enemy because they'll take that literally and then treat me like an enemy. So I'm just trying to say that there goes my brain again. I mean, like if you met me and knew me as a person, I could usually stay focused on what I'm trying to say. And it's not because of lack of sleep or one beer or a dip. It's like whenever I turn this on and try to explain this out logically and good on live or on streaming or when I'm recording, uh, I all of a sudden have a no words and I'm saying like a lot more. And I'm also saying whatever because I just not taking the time and taking the time to figure out what the word would mean. Because I do blame it on they a lot because it could be a group of humans picking on me. The invasion of privacy. Well, okay, so there's four invasion of privacies that they cannot do, but they can uh, watch this room through heat technology, infrared. So they could see the body heat of me sitting here, and they could see the body heat of my dog over there, and they could see it clearly as I'm going like this or doing something. That they could see. So they basically can see inside this room. They can see what I'm doing, but they can't see it in detail to where if I was like walking around naked, they probably can't see my naked skin. But they can see the register of the body heat, and it would show detail of my whole body. I think you guys understand that, but I'm not sure. So that's a way that they can go around that law. Another way is that they can't come directly into this room and set up sound devices unless they were like the government and have good reasons to. And I've broken the laws. I've done nothing uh, that they can prove anyway. Which I mean, like I'm still trying to just think of these things that I may have done, except for not praying. I didn't pray today. I prayed maybe twice over the food only because I was forced to pray. The voices kept saying, pray, pray, pray. And they used code words like go home, which could literally mean go home. But I don't have a home. I don't. And if I did have a home, it'd be here right now. And home is where the heart is and all that other crap. It gets more and more complicated and more of a play on words. And it gets difficult to try to get around that. Go home to them means to pray. Go home to God. Go home to Jesus and tell him what's going on with you and let him know so that way you can be protected or I can be protected and I can experience less unexplainable phenomena that I am not sure of that I need to have. I refuse to have faith on this. For what? That's not proof to torture somebody and say, "Oh, here he is. This is God." You know, it's ridiculous. The technology that they were working on is and probably perfected now that they can turn it on and off anytime they want. There's the other thing is that quantum physics and quantum mechanics are capable of doing that. Supercomputers can do that now, and the records and the data that they have in the future uh, could meet up here now. So they could know exactly what I've been doing uh, as far as the times that I leave the house, the things that I'm interested in. They could look at my Facebook profile, which I don't really care about my Facebook. I used to have Facebook that was detailed and I was born here and I was born at, just like everybody else. they save that data and they store it in the cloud. So that data is probably safe somewhere where in the future they would be using it, where the supercomputers are able to communicate with the supercomputers there. So that would take care of the time issue. Only a human being able to comprehend that and do that with another human, it's like, and why? It's all mysterious. God works in mysterious ways, and I say that sarcastically too because he doesn't act like God. I know that God. I don't know that much about God, but I do know that he is supposed to love us and he's supposed to care about us and that he protects us and he's not a manipulator or he doesn't try. He does, or it's already happening for him. See, even describing God is a difficult thing for me right now because I'm not really sure who God is. If I can't explain anything, I usually say it's God, just to generalize it and hope that I may have hit it on the dot or something. These just all of a sudden came in tonight. The tent poles I didn't catch on to until way later, and I took those down immediately. And and then there's also why me? Why specifically me? There's many explanations for that too, but it would take days and years to try to convince or try to. I'm just tired of trying to explain it to a new person every 5 minutes, and then they're just like, "Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about." Every person that I've met believes in God. Every person I've met believes in Jesus. Every person that I've met believes in angels. Every person that I met believes in ghosts and spirits and the way that that works. But they're unwilling to listen to a human experiencing anything supernatural or weird, uh, and probably has it right and correct is what I'm trying to say. But it's hard to get. It's hard. It's impossible to get other people to agree because they're either possessed by that or I sound like I'm a rambling, crazy dip person, whatever it's called. What they're trying to do right now is the psychology thing where they want me to admit to stupid things that they accuse me of doing. And there's nothing that that I can admit to that they are accusing me of. Because I haven't broken the laws, I haven't done I haven't killed anyone, I would, which is hard, see. There he goes. Guy is a scared coward kind of thing. And it's probably not even God. God's not a scary thing. So what I was gonna say is that God is when I learned in church was that he was good for us. After all, he gave his son for the earth. So Christianity in that place is in my opinion somewhat real, but it's not proven yet either. Anybody could make a voice on frequencies and target a person and say, "My name is God. You have to listen to me." Which is why there was a lot of suicides and why there was a lot of things going on when psychosis or when drugs got involved, and or alcohol. I didn't know that alcohol could cause psychosis as well. If you're going through withdrawals or stress itself can actually cause psychosis. And but there's so many things like losing losing the ability to talk right or explain anything the way I want to. My brain just keeps going. My theory behind that, my hypothesis, is that my higher power being Jesus Christ, who always wants me to be truthful, honest, and uh, also to uh, there it goes. He does that a lot. Uh, I say he because I believe it's Jesus. So I say that he was my higher power. Um, when I was training my subconscious, which is part of me and my body, when I think, because the mind isn't really in our body either, and our soul, if those exist. But hmm, there it goes again, word block, and I'm not like this. I wish that I could do this accurately and in a way that I could not sound so like that's not part of my speech. Any person knows that. I'll probably say it seldomly, but not really as much as I'm doing in these last 5 minutes. I'm a great speaker. I speak well with other people. I can do good at public speaking. And especially if I'm prepared, especially if anybody's prepared, they can get over the stage fright and have the courage and confidence to do anything. What I believe is that my higher power has access to my subconscious. My subconscious is able to manipulate my what do they call it? Central nervous system, which can cause my body itself to feel like there's waves, to feel like they're safe. My Even my immune system would be